determine the reason for which the project and its alignment with organization goals. And it also uh, identifies stakeholders by identifying individual or groups with an interest in a particular project. It also talks about project charter, that is creating a document outlining the project scope, objectives, and deliverables involved in a specific project. So all these are under project initiations. And when you are saying project initiation, it should involve business need identification, stakeholder identification, and project starter. So stakeholder identification is identifying people who are important in the project, who are having interest in the project. And the project charter is just all about, let's say, a document that outlines the project scopes, objectives, and deliverables in a particular project. And also we have elicitation. Under elicitation, you have requirement gathering, you have techniques, and you have requirements prioritization. Under this requirement gathering, it involves a uh, collection of information about business needs, problems that are supposed to be resolved, and opportunities that may arise in the business itself. And also talking about techniques, it involves uh, what is needed to gather the information. And this process includes interviews, surveys, workshops, document analysis, and observation. When you talk about interviews, this is about gathering uh, information from maybe probably staffs and stakeholders by sending out by calling them and having a one-on-one talks with them. And also you have surveys. Some people might not want to be identified, so you might send an anonymous surveys to them to fill. And through this, you can also gather your information about that particular business. And also, you have workshops whereby you organize workshops like a kind of seminar. You bring people together and they will ask questions, you know their questions, and you give them probable answers. And you have document analysis, that is working with essential documents in the organization itself to identify where problems are coming from and try to solve them. And also we have the observation method whereby you become part of the organization, but your main goal is to make adjustments and make amends to the business process itself. So you identify how they work and you propose what you felt as a business analyst would be the best way to move forward. And you have a requirement prioritization. This requirement prioritization involves determining the relative importance of identified requirements. You see, in a business analysis, when you prioritize your goals or you prioritize your requirements, you need to identify which is important to the particular solution that you wanted to render. So you need to identify it properly so and implement it as well. Also, we have analysis. Under this requirement analysis, this analysis, you have requirement analysis, you have solution assessment, and gap analysis. So requirement analysis simply means evaluation of requirements that you have for feasibility, consistency, and completeness. When you talk about feasibility, uh, uh, you look at the documents, the requirements you have. You have to look at the feasibility. Is it implementable? Is it workable? Requirements. So you need to look at that, and you look at the consistency. How consistent is the requirement going to be to the business itself? Is it something that will last long? And also you have to ensure that it is complete, as in whatever you need is in that this said requirements, so that you will not be having issues along the line. And also you have solution assessment. Assessment is a situation where you explore potential solutions to address identified requirements. So this one is simply about having different solutions. You don't just jump to one, you must have different kind of solution whereby you table on ground and look for the one that is proper for the situation as hand. And then you have the gap analysis. This is about identifying differences between the current state and the desired future state. What is this one is trying to say is identifying the current position you made the organization as a business analyst, and also try to identify what you want it to be in future. So you look at the gap and you analyze it as an analyst and see what is needed in the current state, and when you bring in your solution, what is meant to be achieved, what is supposed to be achieved in the future. So this is what they mean by current state and the desired future state. Also, we have a solution design. Under solution design, you have solution design itself, you have prototype development, and you have the design review. You see, solution design is a situation where you develop a detailed specification for the solution, including functional and non-functional functional requirements. Where they say functional and non-functional requirements, the functional requirements are things that you require immediately. Let's take, for example, like building a mobile app. You know, the functional requirement is to send money, uh, receive money, buy recharge cards, and other thing. And the non-functional requirements can be things that will come in later, maybe buying shares, and stuff like that. So those are non-functional requirements, but will be in the document itself, but can be implemented at a later time. And also we have number 5, we have construction. Under this construction, you have a solution development and testing. Under the solution development, this involves building the solution based on design specifications. So based on the above designs, solution design we have identified above. Sorry, I didn't talk about prototype development. So sorry. Prototype development is about creating a working model to demonstrate the solution's capability, such as when you develop an app or you develop a process for an organization, you need to demonstrate it to the stakeholders and let them understand how the system itself is going to work. So when you let them understand how the system itself is going to work, then that's when you come together and say, okay, yes, you can implement this system. Then you have the design review. Design review simply validates the design with stakeholders. So after creating a working model which you have presented to the stakeholders, you come together with the stakeholders again to review the design itself, because you cannot just assume what you design is the best for them. You need to make sure that it's in line with their what's it called? Is in line with their existential process, so that there won't be any issue. So you need to go through it together with them, and wherever they felt there is issues, they need to point it out, then you adjust before moving into construction and development of the solution. So under this construction, you have solution development, like I said earlier, and the testing. The solution development build uh, the solution based on the design specifications, and uh, whatever you are working with, you must have a specification. So whatever you are going to build or implement in a system, it has to be on specification which is approved by the stakeholders themselves, and it might change. But once it's not changed, it should still be based on the specification. You also have testing. Under this testing, you conduct various types of tests to ensure quality and functionality. As like I said, this is not basically only on software alone. In a business environment as well, maybe you are trying to introduce a new workflow or a new process, you still have to test it. You may just throw in the process. In a very big organization, you might look for a department that is partially or maybe redundant, and you just throw in the process and see how it works. So when you see how it works and you test it and ensure that the process is of good quality and it functions properly before you implement it to other departments. And also we have the transition. The transition, we have deployment, user training, and post implementation review. Under this deployment, after you have tested the solution and you are sure that it works perfectly, this is when you implement the solution in a organization wide system, and you implement the solution into the production level or organization wide system and ensure that you monitor and follow up. While you deploy the solution, there is also need for user training. Under this, you provide training to end users or on how to use the solution effectively, especially in an organization whereby the business process is changing. You need to organize maybe a workshop for each department and let them understand how the new system works. And you give them a kind of manual on how they go about the new system and let them understand that this system is new, yes, but they need to understand it and implement it as appropriate. And you have the post implementation review, that is evaluate the solution's performance and effectiveness. Yes, you have deployed a solution, you have trained the staff. You don't just leave them like that. You look at the solution. If it's working, yes, you need to look at it properly. If it is working, fine. If it is not working, you need to understand what is the problem. And when you identify the problem, you need to note it down and implement it in a future time and see how you can go about it. So this post implementation review, it evaluate the solution's performance and the effectiveness. Then you have evaluation, that is ongoing monitoring and lessons learned and continuous improvement. Like I said earlier, you track solutions performance and identify areas for improvement, and you also learn one or two things. This is where lessons learned comes in. You capture insights from the projects to inform future initiatives. Maybe when you are trying to implement the process, you encounter some problem, and how you resolve them has to be noted down so that in future cases you won't run into such trouble again. And you have the continuous improvement. After deploying a solution, you don't just leave it like that. There must be improvement, like I said, in during transition and during the under transition for post implementation review. Whatever you noted down there, it has to be implemented as changes to enhance the solution's value so that your solution will continue to be useful, will continue to be valuable to the organization. So I think that's all for now. If there's any question, kindly let me know. Are we there?
Yes, sir.